this is Rydo, and we are back to another recording live stream of Hearthstone. Today is the day before Easter, April 15th, and I do not have much to talk about. A lot of game announcements, and that's about it. So let's try to get as many live stream chats as possible. We were kind of light the last time, but I wouldn't be surprised if we're kind of light today too. A lot of people probably doing things for Easter or setting up. Do we have a Tavern Brawl to play? No, we haven't cycled through that. We need to play 5 games, win 5 games with the Paladin and Warrior, win 3 games with the Paladin, and play 30 Priest class cards. So this will work out pretty nicely for us. We just need to play Paladin, which isn't too bad, and I guess we will continue down the ranked rate. We'll play a little standard here just to keep it interesting. Not a ton of stuff happening right now for me. I've been very bad about playing Borderlands, but I'm just about to finish the main story. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna take a break after the main story and then record a separate game and then come back and do the DLC. So while it will air continuously, the internals of it, the recording for me will give me a bit of a break. It doesn't seem like Steam has any kind of spring or Easter sale. At least nothing's been announced, and I don't see anything today. So if it's a one-day only sale, that'll be fine by me. It kind of almost puts me in a weird position where maybe I don't even want to buy Bayonetta. I would like to get their first week sales higher. This is a silly reason to buy a game, but actually supporting them in their sales window to promote and push them to put more things on the PC is something that I'm super motivated to do. So I probably should do that because I feel I should support them. Otherwise, I could wait till May the 4th, and then that'll be the Star Wars sale, and that is a month away, and at that point, I don't think they would care too much about. This is an interesting trick I'm going to end up doing. Trying to figure out which way should I have played this and maybe get this powered up. It would have been a 1 in 4 odds, so it's better just to play this first and then play this. The Nintendo Direct happened, and because of that and a few other games being announced, probably just I'd assume towards the school being out for Japanese kids. That's kind of the only thing I could think, or maybe there's a fiscal quarter that happens with Nintendo. It really doesn't seem like there's too much there, actually, because school's been out for several weeks for the kids. They could be closer to getting back into school depending on how long of a break they actually get. And so it also most certainly is a quieter time right now. There's nothing else really going on in the video game industry. So like the video game industry, it's a quieter time. So certainly politically it's very much not a quieter time, but I'm not going to cover any politics today if I'm lucky. So this stream is almost certainly going to be a shorter one. We may only get 1 or 2 recordings. That's fine by me because we've gotten extra recordings and everything else. Can I do 2 things that are 2? this, hit this, hit this in return. We could play just ranked the same deck over and over again and see if it wins. That would be interesting. The Windows 10 Creators Update came out. I'm not sure I got it yet because I haven't really looked too much. It's in general kind of a terrible update, and this is the big problem, I think, is everybody got forced into this Windows 10 operating system, and then it turns around and they give you a terrible update and bad service for it. So I believe I have the victory here. So we'll take it. The game mode is almost completely useless. The only way it works, according to the article I read, is if you're running like a YouTube video at 1080p and a second video at 1080p and cleaning your hard drive at the same time while you're playing a game. So you're just like ridiculously multitasking, trying to put load on your PC, and that's probably not even going to work for me. Now, arguably, maybe there's a small chance that I could eliminate some services running in the background while I'm streaming and recording, so just OBS and the game ran perfectly. But there is also a very decent chance that what would happen instead is I would turn on game mode and it would stop OBS from running, and then that could include like introduce catastrophic errors to the recording, like completely stopping it, causing the video frames to stutter, potentially just corrupting the video completely. So I don't think I could use game mode as a recorder, because I still want to use OBS and not whatever internal software that Windows wants me to use. On top of the creator update, there's now ads in the Explorer that you can turn off, and it's pretty easy to figure out that trick to do that. You can find it online. I'm just gonna go ahead and kill this guy just for protection. And there's a ton of exploits and vulnerabilities were introduced in the Windows 10 Creator Update. So the update's not ready for prime time at all as far as features. It's not ready for prime time as far as security, and it's adding ads. It's the kind of biggest update we've seen in a long while. Like, sure, there was an anniversary update, but that didn't really add much either. In a lot of ways, the idea of an operating system being living and adding more features is ridiculous, because I don't want more features in an operating system. The only thing I want are speed enhancements and security improvements. Like, that's it. Like, I just want it to continue running. A fully patched version of Windows 3.1 that can actually run all my software is what I want. I don't want extra things. And of course they want to sell you extra things. This one. And then this one. And then we'll take this one out and do this one. And we should win this right now. Let's see. There's one thing that I might be able to rant on to get a little bit more time, but that's kind of it. So let's just kind of go through the game announcements. There's a Hey Pikmin is coming out to 3DS, and I believe that one was already available in Japan. There were several Japanese only games that
That's not a valid target.
Let's go ahead and kill this. We'll just go ahead and do this. So yeah, several Nintendo specific Japanese only games are getting released worldwide. Miitopia, which is a RPG fantasy game where you play with your group of Miis, and Yokai Watch Psychic Specters are 3DS games that are also coming out. I'm covering a lot of games here that I normally wouldn't cover. As far as announcements, usually there's not any room at all to cover announcements and see. But that's basically all I've got right now. I will say in general, the Nintendo Direct didn't announce anything interesting or amazingly interesting. It doesn't show a great lineup for the 3DS, like as if they were really going to support that for the long haul. And it doesn't show a great lineup for the Switch either. So dark days ahead for the Nintendo. And because it's all Nintendo stuff, almost all of the things I'm going to talk about aren't coming to PC. And I'm a PC video gamer, so they kind of don't have any part or purpose to me. It's just noise. But I tried to write down the type of game it is, and most of the release dates. A lot of the release dates, though, are just in 2017 or July 2017 or something like that. So there's this game called Druidstone: The Secret of Minhir Forest. This is an old school RPG, top-down RPG. I suspect that this one isn't going to sell any better than any other old school top-down RPG, but it's coming out too. I don't know why I'm particularly speculating on how well it's going to do, having only it just being announced. Like, I probably should wait to levy an opinion there. Next game, we're just gonna burn through these. Fate Extella, which is, let's see, Fate Extella: The Umbral Star is coming to Switch. It's a Dynasty Warriors clone with cleavage. The main character has a very high, sharp V-neck.
Put this apple on your head.
So I put with cleavage there. And my thought on Fate/Extella is that part of the Fate Stay series, and I probably is. Which is based off, I think, an anime, which I think is based off a either light novel or manga. That it's slightly interesting to comment on the difference between light novels and manga, because those are different things. It depends. Basically, the big difference is a light novel is a novel that's not really committed to being the full length of a novel, but also isn't full of pictures, so it's more kind of something slightly bigger than what you'd call a short story. And a lot of the visual novel games actually are based off light novels and not and not mangas. Although usually when anime is based off a light novel, that's not a sign of immediate quality, because then the animators have to create their own art style there, and they usually cheap out, and usually light novels are more about romance stories and such. There is probably not enough, but a decent amount of research has been done between what the in general female population is interested in seeing in their entertainment versus what the in general male population is. And I'm certainly just generalizing here, but basically it comes down to females are much more mental on average, and they appreciate the novel if it's descriptive and makes them think of things, where males are more visual, and so they would appreciate the mangas because it's more of a visual atmosphere, which on the American side certainly also kind of plays out there, because the stereotype exists for a reason, that comic books are mostly a guy's thing, boys thing, and not a girl's thing. Let's see if we've got a victory here. Nope. So with his immunity right now, what we need to do is this, and this. And in return, the next game we have is Sinmora EX for the Switch. It's a side-scrolling shooter, basically like R-Type, other than the fact that it's got 3D graphics, 2.5D graphics, and looks a lot better and newer. Hey, we're getting a win streak bonus, and we made it up to 19. So nice to get some success here. We might just, you know, play for rank. This would be a new thing for me, but since there's not really much to talk about until somebody comes on and starts commenting, this is just going to be a short one. Splatoon 2 is coming July 21st. This is the point where I realized I should have written down the dates for those other games. It's a kid-friendly first-person shooter, if you don't know what Splatoon is. Nintendo property, where those others were like third-party games. Let's see. There's the most interesting thing, and this video actually was on my trending tab for one day this week, is Shinobi Raffle Sin Kagura, which is part of the Sin Kagura series, which is still not a series I fully understand, but I think part of it certainly revolves around the idea of romanticizing or objectifying the characters, if you want to use that phrase. And this game in particular is a dating, but probably just groping game. I don't even know if it actually is a dating game, because the entire setup of the game is around the idea of having a 3D boob jiggle physics. That's what the trailer is built around, and with the HD rumble in the Joy-Cons of the Switch. So I guess maybe that's the only thing. On that point, the anime boob jiggle that happens only in anime. Like, sure, you could be a real woman and have a bountiful cleavage and be jogging without a bra and get almost as much boob jiggle as you see in some enemies, but they go far, far above that. In most enemies that are built around that concept, and not all anime is, by far, even the slightest turn has the animators animating their breast jiggling, often even spending more effort on animating that than facial movements or shadowing or shading on the face, because they may be in a different perspective. Well, see. And with that bonus streak, we now are at rank 18. So if we can get a consistent win here until we got up really high, like, you can jump up in the ranks. The question is, how high can I go? Moving on to the next announcement, because like that game in particular, when it comes out, might be interesting to recover, to see what it really is. The Minecraft Nintendo Switch Edition is coming out May 11th. It has Mario skins and textures and a fully created 3D Mario Mushroom Kingdom Princess Peach's Castle type thing. What is interesting about this, and this kind of tells you a lot of the just internal blindness of Nintendo, is this is called the Nintendo Switch Edition of Minecraft, and it only has Mario stuff in it. There's no Star Fox, there's no Metroid, there's no Zelda. I mean, they just came out with Zelda, and they still don't even see that as like something they should have focused on. I mean, even Bayonetta 2 was funded by Nintendo, so that, I mean, could have, I don't know how you're gonna do Bayonetta 2 in Minecraft, but like, they have a lot of things. There's no Pikmin, there's no there's tons of games. Like, I don't know if I can actually think of many more, but more than just Mario. Let's see, I guess we'll do this. So, like, that's just short-sighted in my opinion. And maybe they want to DLC that. Maybe they want to make you pay. There's no Donkey Kong stuff. Donkey Kong pretty close to Mario. And they haven't done anything with Donkey Kong in a decent amount of time. As that's another consideration to most definitely think about. Alright, so kill this with this. Go ahead and just kill that with that. And this, and that. And in return, the biggest surprise here, I find, is Payday 2 is coming to Switch. Now, Payday 2 is kind of like a GTA clone, but designed around robbing banks and having quests to rob banks. It did not succeed very well, and it seems very odd that this game would be put in the large amount of other games that are being announced / released. It just is a mature rated game where everything else is either kid friendly or Japanese friendly. I guess the boob groping game is a mature rated game too, but it's not a violence game, and that's what the American audience is sold, whether that's what they want or not, is violence, violence, violence. There's tons of DLC for Payday 2, and arguably, I haven't really checked lately, but very well might be the case that the Payday 2 has improved some in the past little while, but like, so like maybe with the upgrades that has done something and fixed things, but I kind of don't believe it, and that's only if we're to assume and believe that the Payday 2 is going to include all the DLC when it comes out on the Switch version, which it kind of needs to. The other thing that's most interesting, more than the fact that Payday 2 was just kind of surprise announced, nobody saw it coming as far as I can tell, is the fact that their most recent Starbreeze Studio game was Dead by Daylight. Now, I'm not sure if Starbreeze is the company that was making some significant progress in getting like publishing deals, and so that they were making progress towards that. And let's see. Play this. And then play this. But if they are getting publishing deals, I don't know why they would then turn around and publish this game in particular. Particularly when you consider they have Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, which would be much more kid-friendly of a game to play. And I don't know, there probably isn't an amazingly, like, yeah, the control scheme on the Joy-Cons for Brothers of a Tale of Two Sons wouldn't really be that hard to move forward and implement and use. All the buttons are still there, they're just split between two controllers, and so I'm really left kind of questioning what are they doing that they decided to try and sell Payday 2. I think in part is because they want to release Payday 3, and I think they've announced that, but it might also be that Starbreeze Studios is on the verge of like running out of money, because like Dead by Daylight certainly didn't succeed, and probably never really even had a chance to succeed, and Brothers of a Tale of Two Sons wasn't the greatest seller ever, and so yes, I would keep my eyes peeled, and I'm gonna try and remember that Starbreeze Studios is the one to keep an eye out. Let's see. The Lady Mystery Journey, formerly known as Lady Layton for the 3DS, is coming out on July 20th, and smartphones, which that certainly throws in another like twist. Like, should I cover smartphone releases? Let's see. The Caligula Effect is coming out for PlayStation Vita. If you don't know what the Lady Layton Mystery Journeys is, it's a mystery game, murder mystery, I believe. Caligula Effect is probably a sex game / visual novel coming out for the PlayStation Vita. It's kind of, the PlayStation Vita in particular is in a weird situation for me, because I want to get one, but I want to get one for a completely unauthorized hack in which I would take out all of its internals and replace it with a Raspberry Pi, which is almost certainly a project that I would fail and would waste my time on if I did do that. However, getting a PlayStation Vita with its screen intact and then rewiring all of that is a desire of mine. Also, it's kind of a bad idea because the PlayStation Vita's internal hardware is probably more powerful, or slightly more powerful than what a PS Vita actually has. So if you could get a PlayStation Vita and just hack the software to run a PC style operating system of Linux or something, that would probably be better. The reason I like the PS Vita is because unlike the PlayStation Portable, which you can get broken units of that relatively cheap, still kind of expensive though, the PS Vita has 2 joysticks for thumbs, which is kind of necessary to play any game that is expecting like a Xbox 360 layout or PlayStation 4 layout style of games. Looks like I'm gonna lose here. Well, I got behind the curve, and unless I could get like Corrupted Seer, I think I'm gonna lose right now actually. So yeah, with the Vita has a touchscreen on the back of it, which also, in theory, you could use as a touchpad for an operating system. It has the right and left clicker triggers. The only thing I don't think it has is I don't think it has a secondary triggers. So you don't have a right bump and left bump, and a right trigger and left trigger. You just have a just right bump and left bump, which that's something slightly missing. But when compare that to the PlayStation Portable just has one thumbstick, and it's much older, and it has a few less buttons, and that's what I'm really looking for, is actual physical hardware buttons that you could wire to a new console of your own building, which is a crazy project, certainly, but it's something I'm thinking about, and probably never do. I've gotten into thinking about doing Arduino projects and such, but in the meantime I'm also running out of time as I'm recording games, so I'm distracting myself. Well, stay tuned if you're watching live, but that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.